First question is, let me start the notepad. So first question is, once the Kubernetes setup, fully set up, what you need to do? So first thing I have questions, how this workstation communicate with master. So let me remind you here. So in the workstations, we have this my laptop, and here we have a kubectl, and this is the master server. And the master server, one component which we have API server, and then we have etcd, controller manager, and then scheduler. So this component is most important one. Everyone talk to this component for managing the cluster. So kubectl talk to API server. So what happens? kubectl, you have, it is in workstation, read the one file which is there's one location which is $home on kubeconfig we call it. Okay, so this is the file which is reading, and in this file you have primarily three information. So one is config file, it's a YAML file by the way. So here you have information for the cluster, multiple clusters you have it. Here you have users, multiple users you have it, and then combine the users and clusters, we have a context. So these are the three sections you have. Let's say primarily when you have one cluster, you will work with only one cluster, one context, but basically this file you can set up a multiple cluster, multiple user, multiple context also. So context, which nothing but a combine the cluster, one cluster plus one user. Okay, now there is a one default setup is done, which is called it a current context. So context means which you want to send a login into. So this is the content of the this is the content of config file. Let me show you this config file. So for myself right now, workstation and work mapped is same machine. So ls $home .cube. This is the file I was talking about. Now you may see the content of this. It's pretty long file. So how do we see in the short form? So there's one command which you can try, kubectl config view. See, so clusters, users. Okay, this is the user. You have two users. For me, in this I have two users. One user is this one, and another user is this one. Two users we have. I later on I added this user, so by default you'll have this user only. And this is the context. I have a two context. So this context you'll see this I added later on the time. And here the current context. So current context, which is this one, which you can see the name with here, where the cluster name and username is Kubernetes cluster name, which is here. This is the API address, and user, which is you have here, which is here. The key and all, it's removed from here just to show you. So yeah, how this kubectl workstation talk to the master server using kubectl. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so after that, let's say you have a cluster up and running, what to do? So this is a clusters like that you will be having given a clusters access, and you right now what you have, kubectl get nodes. Okay, so here you see one master, one worker. You can have as many worker. Master also a HA, you can set up multiple. So my cluster is ready, but what to do after that? So then that I don't know. So if I don't know, then whom should I ask? So I will ask one utility which is called kubectl. see. So these are the commands which we need to learn. Okay, so I will learn these commands. Okay, fine. But what should I create on Kubernetes cluster? What you want? Kubernetes is saying, hey, what you want from me? Just like AWS will come and ask you, what you want from me? So you can say, I want instance. I want. You want what? You want the VM, correct? Then you want what? You want ASG group. You want VPC network. You want EBS storage. You want networking, security, and all these kind of things you want. Load balancer, right? In from AWS, you'll ask these are the things. Hey, give me this, give me that, and sort of things. So, right? So all these things you should ask for it. So here compute you want storage, you want networking, you want load balancers and all sorts like that. So these are the things you will ask for AWS. So same way, Kubernetes asking what you want. So that also I don't know. So how do I know? So there is one here. This command is called API hyphen resources. So if you see kubectl API hyphen resources, now these are the resources which you need to learn. What you want? So if you want compute, then pod, and pod I explained it you. It, uh, uh, PV, PVC. Networking if you want. Here load balancer you want service. ASG group you want. Then we have this one. What to say? Deployment. So all this stuff. Are you able to understand this? Here in AWS, if you have, you say instance. Here you say EBS and all stuff like that. VPC. Here load balancer. We have different kind of it and all stuff. Are you understanding?
Yeah, it's understood.
So from now onwards, think of Kubernetes as a platform which will give you all sort of services. It's like AWS. Earlier we were using virtualizations. Now we are using containerizations. That's the difference. In AWS, everything is set up around the virtual machines. In Kubernetes, everything is around containers. So container is your pod is your compute unit. So here, if you see that here you have a pod, here you have a replication controller which you can say replica sets. Where is replica sets? There's a replication controller. Somewhere replica set. Here you have a deployment somewhere. Here it is, and services. So multiple, services, load balancer. So like that, you have to learn all these resources. So what you want? These are the things. So because these all are API resources, there is one thing which you should formula, which I will show you, which is called CRUD. 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 So create. So read, update, and delete. So how can you create? So everything in in Kubernetes, everything you want to create, either you can do through command line or either you can do through YAML. Same way you can read also. Okay. Same way you can upload also. Same way you can delete also. So everything you can do through the command line. So here, let's say kubectl. Which command to create? So here you have a command create. And if you want to do through YAML file, kubectl create -f and YAML like this. If you want to read it, then here get. Okay, get we have command. If you want to do YAML file, get -f YAML. You have one more command which is called describe, but you can use it here for describe. See here, I'll show you that. Then if you want to edit through command line, so edit command is there. If you want to edit through YAML file, something, apply hyphen. If you want to delete something, then again, delete command is there. And if you want to delete through some YAML file, you can do that. So in Kubernetes, anything you can do through command line or YAML file. Are you understanding all of it? Yeah. So now this is the way you have to learn. So now the first thing Kubernetes is asking me, hey, what do you want? So I want first thing, which is namespace. Why? Because if I look at it, look at nothing. So these are the resources which I can create. Here is a short name. This is the version of API for each resources. And here namespace true and false. Kind is equal to by name. If you see this in pod, POB1 true pod. So what is namespace true and false? Here, that's a question. So if you see that pod, which is true, and if you see node, which is false, how come? What is namespace? So understanding the simple way, okay. So what has happened? There was one cluster and powered by multiple worker. Okay. So now let's say you have a this is 10 GB RAM, this is also 10, this is also 10 GB RAM. So altogether the cluster size what you have is 30 GB. Correct? So now how to distribute this cluster to the multiple project and without them fighting for the with each other for the resources, access and all. So when I say resources is well like a CPU, RAM, storage and all this kind of things. So how do we distribute that? So Kubernetes has come up with a one scheme, one concept which is called namespace. So divide that large clusters. Let me close some of my window, which is slowing actually. So yeah. So Kubernetes, what they did, they divide this large cluster into the it's not a physical division, so it's a virtual division, logical division. Okay. So this is the project one, this is the project two. So now divide into the small section, which is called namespace, and they set a namespace limit, let's say 5 GB, 5 GB, 5 GB. That means this project they are running the pod here, here, and here, which is consuming here, here, here. All three pod, which is running in the three different nodes of the cluster, can maximum utilize the 5 GB because the limit is set for 5 GB. So that way they are able to distribute the resources to the multiple projects without impacting each other. Same time, you can also set access to namespace, different user access to this namespace and stuff like that. Okay, so namespace is a way to divide the clusters, resources and access. Are you understanding?
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah. So first thing what you want. So first thing you want namespace. What you want then? I want the VM compute unit. So compute unit means pod in Kubernetes. Then what you want? ASC sort of it you want. So here we call it replication controller. Okay. And then if you want more as is better one, stable one, then deployment. Okay. Now if you want the load balancer sort of it, So we call it network load balancer, then service.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.